and then ghosted. This phenomenon happens a lot in online dating, and I wanted to talk about it. I'm truly Eleanor, and I help women create loving and secure relationships based on trust in 6 months or less. Please subscribe to my channel for more love, dating, and relationship advice based on my experience working with women over the past 15 years and my own personal journey from going from unhappily single to married to the love of my life in my 40s. Okay, so let's talk about this phenomenon on online dating. This came in as a question from my community, and I do Q&A videos for my community in my Facebook group. So if you're interested in submitting a question, just go click on the link below, join my Facebook group, and then you'll be able to ask your questions so that I can create a video just for you. All right, so again, let's see what this looks like. Love bombing to getting ghosted. So for example, this woman was describing that, she would be talking to someone, like chatting to them online, and they were interested in each other, but it was the very beginning stages. And the guy would all of a sudden be talking about, like, I want kids in the next couple of years. Are you interested in getting married? Like, not proposing, but just talking about really fast things like that you wouldn't expect right away from just talking to someone. It's more like, hi, how are you? Do you want to meet for coffee? But this person is all of a sudden just really interested in you and initiating very in-depth and like heavy topics, or very committed to, wanting to say, I want this, marriage, or I want kids, and just really reeling you in very quickly within the first day or so of first conversation. And then if this woman like responds, and she said she didn't initiate any of these kind of conversations about big long-term, futuristic type of things. And then all of a sudden the guy would just ghost her, or else he would maybe, initiate these kinds of big topics and conversations and then ask her out. And if she responded, then he would ghost her. So she was wondering, what is all of this about? And so the first thing I was asking her was, are you actually meeting with these people? Like, are you face-to-face with them? Are you on video? I always try to recommend, or I do recommend, that you meet the person as quickly as possible. This is, pretty standard dating advice for a reason, because people can play all kinds of really strange games and not really be who they say they are, or reel you into this whole thing, which is really a lot of wasting your time and getting you further away from what you want. So if you get wrapped up in these kind of games, because unfortunately there are people on these dating apps who are just there to play games, and they don't necessarily even know that they're doing it all the time. It's not really, very, what's the word, like, intentional. They maybe are just have their own issues or a lot of problems, and they're playing out these games on the dating app. So you want to cut through those kind of people as quickly as possible and not waste your time on them. So the only way to do that is to get them to meet you in person. So if, for example, if this guy is initiating kind of strange conversations, and you're like wondering, well, why is he all of a sudden talking about marriage and kids and asking me these really personal things and seeming like extremely super overly interested, almost like an excessive amount of interest, and then ghosting me, then you've got your answer, that that person is just there playing games. And although our brain and our mind really wants a clear-cut answer, like, why are they doing that? Or why are they messaging me? Why are they acting like that and then all of a sudden disappearing? Sometimes we can create a whole thing where we're actually getting caught up in the drama, and we're getting caught up and spiraling around with this other person, or basically they're taking up a lot of space in your head over a game that they're just on to the next person, and it really is a game. So finding out the why, and why did they do that, is interesting, And it's good to know, but there's also a bottomless pit, and there's also a rabbit hole involved in that, because there's 100 different reasons why people do that. And there's so many different issues that people have, like I said, that they play this out inside the dating apps, unfortunately. And so that's why I teach women to get really intentional when they're dating. Before they open their app, they're deciding, like, I'm going to have, I'm going to send 10 messages, or I'm going to answer 10 messages, and I'm going to, I intend over the next 2 weeks to go on 3 coffee dates, and I want to talk to 3 men who I'm interested in and go on a coffee date with them. And that's your intention. And so you show up in that way, and it's very intentional. And that way you don't get caught up in all of this drama that people are playing out. And I think the question underneath that is really asking, like, am I doing something to create this? Am I doing something to provoke it? And the answer is no. A lot of times, even in the personal development world or the spiritual world, people will say, oh, you attract what you are, and it's just a mirror for everything and all of this stuff. And after 15 years of just very intensive personal development and spiritual teaching and having my own mentors, I've come to realize that this is not everything is a mirror, and not everything that people are doing is because of what you're putting out there into the world. That's just not true. What happens is you're out there and you're open and you're in the world and you've got the intention. And so maybe your heart is open and you're showing up and you're excited. So maybe in that way, they're attracted to that, if you want to talk about energy. But they're not specifically, it's not a thing where they're matching your inability to commit, or they're showing you a mirror that you're not able to have a very serious committed relationship. I don't believe in those kind of things. That's not what that person is showing you. That person is showing you that they have issues, and they're going to show you right away what they're doing. So I would actually be very happy to know right away, after one day and like a couple of conversations maybe, that they have issues and that they're not obviously serious, and they're not someone to spend your time on or to have them take up headspace. In other words, don't spiral into that, what's wrong with me, or what am I doing to attract this and have this keep showing up in my life. What it is, it's just an app with a lot of people. There's millions of people on there. And like I said, they may be attracted to your enthusiasm or your open energy, or the fact that you're there for a legitimate reason. And for some reason from them, that's attractive to them because they're playing whatever game they're doing. But it doesn't have anything to do with you. In other words, it's not like you put it out there in the universe and you keep getting this same thing happening over and over again. I can bet that you are also having experiences where there are interesting people that you can talk to, and that this doesn't happen all the time. If it is happening all the time, then that's something that we need to look at. If every single person you're talking to is doing this, then that's different. If you can't go, one day without having pretty much everyone who's messaging you doing the same thing, then you've got a pattern. Then you've got something you're going to look at for yourself. And how am I showing up, and what am I, what do I need to learn from this? But in the case of this woman in my community, I'm pretty sure that it was that this is just happening occasionally, and she understands that it's to do with them. So I would just say to not let them take up space in your head. The only thing you really need to know is that they are dealing with their own issues, and whatever it is, it's nothing to do with you. And they are just going to keep moving on to the next person. We don't know what they're looking for. We don't know what they want, and they probably wouldn't know when they found it anyway. It's most likely a sort of like an addictive rush that person gets. So they keep doing something to create that rush of the high. So some people get what they call like the love addiction. So they're addicted to those high feelings of the endorphins and the oxytocin and everything that happens when you're in love. And so they kind of, what's the word, like falsely instigate that feeling by kind of fantasizing and being a little bit delusional about how close they are to that person. So even though they don't know that person, they become infatuated. So it could happen in a matter of minutes or days, where they're all of a sudden infatuated with you and they are feeling that high, and that's what they're looking for. And it's not you per se, that they're just projecting their own feelings of that high and that love addiction onto you. So you're like the object that they are just attaching to. And as soon as they kind of either come down from the high, or they need to keep that high going, they'll move on to the next person. And so that's really all you need to know. That's most likely what's going on. And like I said in the beginning, I would just focus on being intentional and very focused and very much in your own heart of what you desire, kind of like that laser focus. You're moving forward. You're on the dating apps. You have one thing that you want to do, and that's to meet someone who's going to be a high quality person, who's available, who also wants the same kind of relationship you want, and stay focused on that and do what it takes to meet that person. And so as long as you do that, those other things that are happening on the apps, like the different dramas that play out, it has no consequence to you, because you're very much still moving forward. And you can even look at it as a curiosity thing, which is another reason we like, well, why is this person doing that? So that could be simply what my community member wanted to know, is like, really, why do people do that? And that's my answer. But for you and moving forward with what you want, stay focused, stay in your heart, trust your intuition, and keep moving forward, looking for what you want. And so hopefully this has been helpful, and it has helped you to understand, the basics of what might be going on, and understand that the dating apps are really kind of a platform for a lot of issues that people have. They play out a lot of things going on there. It's like sort of a stage where people are going to play out what they're doing, and that's for them to figure out. So it's just a matter of not getting caught up in that and not getting tangled up in someone's issues and drama, and just staying focused. So thank you for watching. And again, if you're interested in being part of my community, click the link below and join my Facebook group, and then you'll be able to submit your questions so that I can create a video just like this one for you. I'm truly Eleanor, and thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.